Just a quick update on Trumpzilla and the planets at hand. As mentioned in earlier broadcasts, we looked mainly at these planets here. Let me define this. This is Trump's natal chart on the inside. On the outside are the transits. And they're what's up in the sky right now. Some of these right now, they pass quickly. They're like a good day, bad day. They don't really change that much the overall picture of your life. So if you just ignore these, they're very important if you get married on that day. But after that, they come and go quickly, like the wind. But the planets that are felt very much, and this has been pointed out in many YouTubes, that Saturn and Pluto, when they come together, because they're very, very heavy planets, they're weighty. Let's say these are the feathers of life, and these are the heavy weights. This, if you get a punch from these guys, you'll remember it forever. These planets were in play during 9/11 and during the wars of the last century, the First and Second World War. When these guys came around, either in opposition or conjunct when they're together, like they are now, they carry a heavy punch. That means that this period of our history will be remembered forever. And it's kind of clear that there will be books written on this period of life. It's important for you to take a stand in your nation's activities so that when one day your great grandkids are going to say, Grandma and Grandpa, where were you when the children were being locked up at the border? So in a way, it's on of our watch. It's on my watch. I mean, when we're tending the garden, how do we do? Now, in Trump's chart, these heavy hitters, the South Node, which is bad karma. Let me tell you, this is bad karma, the South Node. The Saturn in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn. These are the heavy hitters. When they are in some type of interplay, we will have a change in everything. Capricorn is the government. Now, these are Donald Trump's personal planets. Okay? Each house rules a certain area of life. First house, second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house. You want to draw a big circle around this guy. Now, with these guys in the fifth house, as heavy as they are, you got to figure like this house just got about a ton of weight. The rest of the houses are just kind of floating out there. And so if you just look at these, the fifth house, what is the fifth house? The fifth house is children. It's lovers. It's also sports and gambling. And it has a few other meanings, but children is the main emphasis here. And past lovers, well, affairs. I don't know if some of the things that Trump was doing would be called love affairs. It's more like grab and run. I mean, Stormy Daniels called him tiny. So the man is frustrated for some reason. And he's lately been accused of jumping in a closet and raping and molesting a woman all within a few minutes. You know, really. I don't know if that's a love affair. This is what's happening now. And this is his karma. It will affect his children deeply. His own personal children are certainly in jeopardy. And but it's also the specter of little children in concentration camps on the border. This is your karma. The fifth house is karma. This will take him down, and this will be the end of him. Will it be now? What we're seeing, there are two really important periods. One is at the end of June and the very beginning of July. That's when you see the let's say the powder keg being lit, and it's got a long fuse, and the next it hits the powder or the TNT around January of 2020. So we're seeing the beginning of the end. Also, a gigantic change in our government. Anytime you get Saturn and Pluto, expect big structural, Saturn is structure, big structural changes. And it's karma time for Mr. Trump. His children, other people's children, and I'm really waiting for some person to step forward and claim paternity. I mean, there's going to be more little Trumpsters out there than we even want to know about. So that's the quick update on what's happening now. We're going to see the beginning of an explosion, and it's going to be fully ignited, or the end of the matter is in January 2020. So that's the two things that are coming to light here. The end of June, the beginning of July. It's like someone lights a fuse, and it starts to head towards the TNT kegs. Now, his July 4th appearance at the Lincoln Memorial, I've gotten psychically. I kept getting the Lincoln Memorial in my dreams. I saw Lincoln's face, I saw a dollar, I saw the monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and I didn't understand what all that meant. I knew there was a message in it. Now, the Trumpster has a grand idea to have a big hoopla in person at the Lincoln Memorial. So, is that part of this? Yeah, I think so. It's being set off now with the outrage of the children. We have, like Nazi Germany, concentration camps for children. That's what we have to live with. It's on your watch and it's on my watch. So if you don't want to answer the question, when your great grandkids come in and they go, "Grandma, Grandpa, where were you when the children were locked up in cages?" Are you going to say, "Oh, I was posting things on Facebook"? You know, by then there won't even be a Facebook, and that's not going to cut it. And it's going to be that's not the way to change things, to send out virtual temporary notices to people that think just like you. You're preaching to the choir. So get active, and also feel good about yourself. You will feel better about yourself. I protested during the Vietnam War in Washington. I feel better for it. I didn't sit off in Kansas and watch boys my age getting killed. I did something. I feel good about it. I'm not carrying that albatross or that weight around my shoulders. I think every generation is, you have to stand up for something or it will weigh you down. Uh, it will be the albatross of your generation. So these are the aspects. Let me move my pointer here. These are the aspects, Saturn and Pluto, and they change things like 9/11, the two world wars in the last century. And they always come around. You can expect, really, in about 20 or 30 years, they'll be back around causing some kind of mischief. It's just going to depend on what areas they fall into. So I leave that with you, my little dears, and keep the faith, but feel good about yourself. Get active in some way. You can get a sign and go out on the corner. You can attend political meetings, raise money, volunteer, but don't sit home posting things on social media. It's a joke. It's not going to solve anything. It hasn't yet. This problem's been around for well, how long has this guy been in office? About 2 years. And people post things on the Facebook and social media, and they say they're outraged. Nothing's changed. So get active, make your voice heard. It's the challenge of our generation to get out and do something. Even a sign on the corner, a go to a march in Washington. What else are you doing? You can do it. I did, and so did many other people. The boys in Vietnam, they had to go off to another country and get killed. Really, with that, and because of that, I could go for a march in D.C., and I feel better for it as well. I was a little young during the civil rights movement, that I did, even in my very young youth, get out and protest a little bit, even though the social issues were hard for me to grasp, but I knew it was on my watch when I was here on this earth. So think about your time and what you're going to do. You're going to go onto Facebook or another social media and say how wrong this is. It won't work. But this is the end of the matter anyway. This is the end of Trump, and because these are his personal planets here, and they're hitting in where his sun is, and this is his fifth house of children. So it's going to end. It depends on how you want to feel about it. Are you going to sit on a beach in Florida and go fishing while these things are happening and go, well, I posted some things on Facebook? No, that's not going to make a change. You could do that till the end of time. But this is what's happening. It's kind of a given, and it's just time for everybody to take responsibility.